What is up, guys? Rick is here, and today we're talking about updating Destiny's old content, specifically updating the old raids, and why I think that it might finally be happening. Now, most of the Destiny community has been asking for Bungie to update this old content for a very long time. We want a reason to play some of the best content in Destiny. You know, Crota's End, the Vault of Glass, all of that stuff is fantastically well-designed content, but unfortunately it hasn't been brought forward as the levels have been advanced, and therefore there really isn't a huge reason to play this content. Now, there are still some arguments against doing this. Some people say that some of the rewards, like the Black Hammer, would be overpowered. However, it's pretty easy to just take those out of the loot system so they won't really have any effect. Some people say that the elemental abilities of the old raid primaries would throw the game off balance, but you can just patch those guns and remove the elements. Now, some people say that it would take up too much space on the disc, especially for the older consoles, if you were to update the old content. But this argument is totally unfounded by people who don't really know much about game design, because you aren't adding any new content. In fact, you can play all the content right now, it just needs to be updated. That's a pretty minimal impact on space. And some people just say that, hey, we want new content over, updating old content. And while I agree with them, I want new content too, I feel like the girl from the taco commercial. Why can't we just have both, right? Like, why can't we have old content and new content, both increasing the variety of Destiny? I'm not going to be happy if the new expansion comes out later this year, and then all of the current content, all of the current strikes, the current raid is all now redundant. Let's stop that from happening, and let's update the old content as well. Now, I brought up those main arguments, but as you can see, considering I dismantled all of them in about a minute, they aren't very strong arguments. So, most of the community is rallying behind the fact that we want to see this old content updated. But again, this has been asked for a long time, so why do I think it's happening now? Why do I think this new live update coming soon that Bungie has announced will be the update that we see the old raids and the old content carried forward and brought into the current new level? Well, the reason lies behind the quote that Bungie provided when they announced this upcoming live update. They said that this content release will feature a significant light increase, a bunch of new gear to earn and equip, and new challenges for PvE players seeking some more fun experiences and replayability. Now again, the reason I think the old content is going to be updated is because of one word: significant. And this is very important because they talk about a significant light increase. And if that word significant wasn't there, my argument basically wouldn't exist. But it's very important that they include this word, because they could just be adding, 10 levels to the light level, right? Like, they could just add a light increase from 320 to 330, add some mega hallowed gear, and call it a day, right? But they said a significant light increase. They went out of their way to include that word significant. So that means that they're not just adding, 10 light levels. They're adding a significant amount. So we can assume that they're going up to, let's say, 400. They're increasing the light level from 320 to 400. And I know everyone wants it to be 420, but just bear with me. In any event, what this means is that they say they are adding some new gear to earn and equip. But there's no way that they're going to add enough new gear, again, just in a small live update, not even an expansion, that will let the player get to this new significant light increase. They can't just ignore all of the current gear and just focus on the new gear. That's what they did in the Taken King. The old gear became irrelevant, but the Taken King featured a lot of new gear that was able to propel the player to that new light level. Again, they're not going to be able to supply enough new gear in just a live update in order to get to that new max light level, again, because it's a significant increase. So what does this mean? And I'm sure a lot of people have already kind of thought about this, but haven't really kind of delved into what this means. It means that they're going to have to update the current content. So for this significant light increase, most of us have probably, again, already thought about this, but they're going to have to update King's Fall. King's Fall is going to have, maybe a new mode or maybe just get updated so that it has increased difficulty of enemies and the increased light level at which the rewards of King's Fall are dropping. And this makes perfect sense. You're going to have to get players to that new light level, so you're going to have to update the endgame content. The raid's going to have to increase in difficulty and drop better rewards. And also, since they're not adding any new strikes, but the light level is increasing, they're going to have to increase the light level and the difficulty of, a certain strike playlist, right? They're going to have to tune the strike playlist for that new light level without adding actually any new strikes. So just think about that and break that down for a second. Because of the light increase, they have to update the difficulty and the light level of the rewards being dropped for certain activities like King's Fall and presumably like strikes as well. Updating the difficulty of the enemies and increasing the light level of the drops. That is exactly what we want from them, what we've wanted for so long involving the old raids. They're doing to King's Fall in this next update exactly what we want them to do to Vault of Glass, to Crota's End, to Prison of Elders. They're updating the difficulty of the enemies and they're updating the light level at which the rewards drop. So if they're already doing this stuff to King's Fall, again, why not do it to Vault of Glass? Why not do it to Crota's End? If they're already updating the current strikes, why not just update some of the old strikes so we can get some variety for once? And this is why I think the old content is finally going to get updated, because the stuff we want for the old content is going to have to happen to the current content. They just need to do the same stuff they're already doing to the old raids, for example. Now, although I am hopeful and I would expect to see the old content being updated in this live update, there is something in the back of my head and I am still a little worried that they just won't do this. But, I hope with your guys' help and the logic of this video, it does make sense that they're updating the current content so they can update the old content, that if they don't do it, if they decide, nah, we just won't do it, they'll look really bad. And they'll be very embarrassed, because I want people to be asking them if they come out, and if they don't update the old content, we should be saying, so let me get this straight, Bungie, you did the exact same thing we were asking you to do to King's Fall, so why couldn't you just do it to Vault of Glass? And then here's some bullshit PR answer, but they're gonna be very embarrassed. They're gonna look real bad if they don't update this old content finally, because again, the logic is sound. We just want them to apply what they're already doing to the old content. Now again, I am hopeful, I think that they're going to do this, but hopefully with your guys' help, if they aren't doing this, they'll now see this and think, shit, I guess we better do it now. So that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you agree with this video, if you want to see the old content finally bloody updated, please remember to rate and share this video. Now, if you want to see more Destiny content, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me, the best way is to follow me on Twitter. That's linked in the description of this video, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Now again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day. Many Destiny players have left the game because they've been simply unhappy with what Bungie has been doing as of late. So again, they're really going to have to step their game up, and that's why we're talking about the top 4 things that will really help this raid be a fantastic piece of content and differentiate itself from the other 3 raids.